All right, thank you, Kate. Now, the trial may be over, but that doesn't mean everything is clear-cut from here on out. This complex legal drama has left millions across the country with questions, including what Lori and her legal team will do next. So joining us via Zoom, we have Utah criminal attorney Clayton Sims. He's been following the case with us. Clayton, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So the big question everyone's asking is, what do we think is the next move for Daybell's legal team?
Well, I think that they will appeal. What's interesting about the judge's rulings earlier, he removed the death penalty off the table. So because of her mental state, because of the moves that the prosecutor made in terms of late discovery notice, that the death penalty is no longer on the table. So some of the appeals will be limited and just focus on the evidence presented. The prosecution presented 60 witnesses. The defense presented 0 witnesses. So whether there's an appeal issue that's valuable, I think probably not.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, the prosecution having around 60 witnesses, hours of testimony, but the defense really just rested their case saying that the state didn't prove its case. What are your thoughts on that strategy? Obviously, it didn't work with the jurors.
They may not have had, the defense may not have had much to work with. They may not have had a single witness that was willing to support their position. And it's difficult to win if you don't present a defense of some type. The defendant taking the witness stand is always a possibility. So you always have at least one witness, but having 0 witnesses, it hurts the appeal for sure.
And what do you make of the decision to pull Chad into closing arguments? He wasn't nearly as much of a focal point before that throughout this case.
Right. What they don't want is to have the defense attorney blame someone who's not there, blame someone else, and push the blame off of Lori onto Chad. Obviously, that strategy didn't work for the defense. Prosecutor presented evidence day after day, week after week, and if the defense didn't put in anything in, their voice isn't heard. So guilty on all counts.
A lot of people have been extremely critical of the defense team for Lori Vallow Daybell, some arguing that she should get a retrial because of how this case was handled. Do you think that's a realistic thing that we could see moving forward?
Well, the only way that would be a problem is if there are other witnesses that are discovered. If there are favorable witnesses that are discovered that the defense didn't present, that would be new evidence that could overturn the case, and that would be a problem. So right now, that may not be a problem, but if you could find 2 or 3 witnesses that the defense did not call that would have supported your case, that's a possibility on appeal.
And I want to circle back to Vallow Daybell's sentencing, which we know likely will happen in the next 90 days or so. We know the death penalty is off the table, but what do we think will happen? Do you think there is a shot that she could eventually get out of prison given this conviction?
So she's convicted of multiple counts of murder. So it's very unlikely, almost impossible for her to ever get out of jail. That prisons are built for people that commit murder, and that she will never get out once she's sentenced. And so, yes, there's a sentencing, but it's very likely that the judge is going to give her life without the possibility of ever getting out.
Clayton, I know you've been following this case extensively, and as an attorney, I'm wondering, looking from the defense's perspective, what do you think are some of the challenges that they face throughout this trial?
Well, some of the challenges are just the optics of Lori Daybell on the beach in Hawaii, enjoying her life, enjoying the sunshine while people are looking for her kids. Her kids are discovered in a shallow grave outside of her husband's house. The optics are just absolutely terrible. And I think the jury found out what happened. I mean, they put the puzzle pieces together, but in terms of what Lori was up to after this, going to Hawaii was terrible. And in fact, taking the money from Social Security benefits and turning that into a trip to Hawaii is just absolutely terrible. And something maybe the reason why the defense didn't want to put her on the witness stand, they would have asked questions. Why are you in Hawaii? What are you doing? Instead of looking for your kids.
A lot of questions that our viewers certainly have on this case. Clayton Sims, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your expertise on this disturbing case.
Thank you.